sir.
Please come.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. You are Donepudi Vijay Babu.
Yes, sir.
Please take a seat.
Thank you, sir.
Should I address you as Vijay?
Yes.
Like a quick introduction, please, Vijay.
Sir, my full name is Donepudi Vijay Babu, sir. I come from Tenali, which is in Guntur district of Andhra Pradesh, sir. From where I have done my schooling up till 12th standard. Post which I have come to Delhi, sir. I have done my graduation in BA Economics from St. Stephen's College, Delhi. And I sat for the exam, sir, and I got selected in the year 2021. And I'm currently in IRS Income Tax. I finished my training and got posted to the field in last May, sir. I'm currently posted in Vijayawada and I'm working there, sir.
Very good. So, Vijay, with that kind of a background, what impelled you to take up the civil services as a career?
Sir, to be very honest, it has been my childhood dream, sir, to get into the civil services. And that is the only reason why I thought I should come into civil services, sir.
No, but what does civil services offer that other careers do not? Childhood doing well, very well. But then now you are an adult, so now you have been able to assess for yourself, I hope.
So one thing is that I think civil services offers me a platform where I feel my capabilities can directly impact people's lives, sir, where I can directly give a first-hand impact on whatever little it may be, but a direct impact on people and their welfare, sir. Secondly, I think it will also allow me to do my small part in terms of contributing to the nation in diverse areas, sir. I think the diversity and this ability to directly impact, be it in whatever little way, to people's life, that is something that's uniquely offered only by civil services, in my opinion, sir.
Right, so you belong to Andhra Pradesh. What is this business of having 3 capitals in the state? Which are these 3 capitals? What is the current position?
Sir, the 3 capitals that were planned were Visakhapatnam, sir, and Amravati and Kurnool, sir. While Visakhapatnam was seen to be the executive capital, and Amravati to be the legislative capital, and Kurnool to be the judicial capital, sir. This idea was proposed by the former Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, sir, Shri Jagan Mohan Reddy. The idea behind this was that doing a 3 capital will lead to decentralized governance and decentralized development, sir. But after the new government had come in last May, this idea is done away with, and Amravati is now back again as the only capital of Andhra Pradesh, sir.
Was it challenged in the courts?
Yes, sir, it was challenged in the courts, sir.
Okay, so what are just one big plus and one big minus of having these 3 capitals?
Sir, one big plus I think is giving importance to each of the regions in the state, sir, that each region will feel that they're attended to, and some sort of positive externality will definitely happen, sir, when the capitals move there. And one big negative, sir, I think just by establishing a capital or just by establishing a court somewhere will not automatically lead to any sort of decentralized development, and also it leads to a lot of administrative inconvenience, in my opinion. So
so you had sociology, right? Who gave us this term Sanskritization, and what does it mean?
So Professor M.N. Srinivas had given this term, sir, Sanskritization. This means the process through which the lower born castes try to move up the hierarchy or attain the position of the Dvija, sir, that is the higher caste. Through various practices, both cultural and social, they try to increase their caste status by adopting various practices, sir.
So now we are hearing of another term, desanskritization.
Yes.
What does that stand for?
Sir, desanskritization is a recent trend where there is a competition to claim backward status, where people are increasingly trying to claim a lower caste status up from a higher status that the others belong to. This trend is and mostly it is seen in the context of growing demands for affirmative action, sir, and also due to political.
So from time to time we've been hearing statements about caste census, and it is taking place in some states. Do you think that's a good development, or do you think it will exacerbate existing caste tensions?
So in my personal opinion, I think it's a good development, sir. The reason being that we've had 75 years of affirmative action, sir. So it's very important for us to understand how this affirmative action had affected various sections and which sections have benefited and which have not. So to attain the goal of social equity, this caste census is very much needed. However, yes, there is a negative externality that this might exacerbate the divisions or the social cohesion that might get hurt, sir. But if it's a choice of social equity versus social divisions, I think the more important goal for us is social equity. The fallout of this thing in terms of social divisions can very well be handled, sir. So I think.
Thank you, Vijay. I hand you over to my co-panelists. Vijay, why is Tenali famous?
So Tenali is famous for multiple reasons, sir. The primary one that most people know about Tenali is due to Tenali Ramakrishnan, sir. He was a jester poet in the court of Sri Krishna Dev Raya, and he is famous for his wittiness. And Tenali is also known as the Andhra Paris, sir. It's seen as home of culture and a lot of movie artists who had come from this place in yesteryears. So these are the reasons why Tenali is famous, sir.
I'm told it also famous for jalebis made out of jaggery. And of course, during the 1942 Quit India movement, 7 people were killed in it. All right. There is no IFS in your choice. May I ask you why?
So, 2 reasons why I have not opted for IFS. One, I have never felt a passion about going abroad and working, sir. I've always found passion in staying in India and like staying on ground and working here. Secondly, while yes, sir, IFS also definitely impacts the people of the common man in India, I think IAS and IPS offers me a better platform to have the direct first-hand impact on where I can see what my work is doing to people and how I can improve that, sir. So these are the 2 reasons why I have not opted for the foreign service.
Okay. The old criminal laws have changed, right? What are the major changes that have been proposed in the new criminal laws? Can you say one by one for IPC, for CRPC, and for Evidence Act?
So can I please take a moment to think?
All right.
Thank you, sir. So I'm unable to recall specifically for which act, sir, but I can recall the changes that have been proposed, sir. One change is a concept of zero FIR which had come in, where the FIRs can be registered regardless of the jurisdiction, sir. Second, there are specific timelines in terms of within which the investigation needs to be completed, sir. 90 days, and constant reporting and constant feedback given to the victims in this one, sir. And thirdly, social welfare or social activities is also introduced as a new form of punishment, sir. And there is also, in terms of Evidence Act, digital evidences is also something that is roped in, sir, that is accounted for. These are the changes that I can think of, sir.
2 new criminal offences have been included in the IPC, new IPC, which were not there earlier. Would you be able to remember?
Sorry, sir, I'm unable to recall at the moment, sir.
All right. My last question, since you studied economics, I'm told Himachal Pradesh is virtually on the facing bankruptcy. Is it true?
So my understanding in this area is limited, sir. I'll read upon that, sir.
It's because of freebies.
Yes.
The employees have not been paid their salary. All right.
Can you tell me what was the total outlay of
50 lakh crores is a total.
Okay. 50 lakh crores. So, see, I a lot of I think that you are ready for that. What about the seeds? Did you think the approximate figure of the seeds?
No, ma'am, I'm unable to recall the exact.
Okay. So, does India have a surplus budget, or do we have a balanced budget, or do we have a deficit budget?
Ma'am, India has a deficit budget.
What do you understand by deficit budget?
Ma'am, my understanding of deficit budget is where your expenditure exceeds your revenue, the incomes that you're getting in.
So, how does government of India balance it?
Ma'am, typically it's done from borrowings, ma'am. The deficit is financed through borrowings, be it from open market or through MSSF funds, etc. Which is what we
Which is very right. But the only question is between deficit and debt. Which should be?
ma'am, my understanding is that debt is more than deficit, ma'am.
What do you understand by debt?
Ma'am, debt is a stock figure as we call, and it is something which is accumulated over the years. Whereas deficit, particularly in the context of budget, is a flow figure, ma'am, which talks about the fiscal deficit of that particular year. So while debt shows the historical deficits that we faced, fiscal deficit talks about what has happened that particular year in context, ma'am.
Yes, you're very right. Okay. The next question to you is, state growth alone was very much in the news last 10 days or 15 days ago. Can you tell me what is this state growth alone?
Sorry, ma'am, I'm unable to recall it this time.
Okay, I need the question. So, you said you are interested in journalism. So, my question is, what is the difference between journaling and simple writing stories?
Ma'am, the difference between is very fluid, ma'am. There's no very stark difference between the two. However, my understanding is that diary writing is something that involves timestamp of your activities, what activities were done at a particular time, etc. So essentially a record of your activities according to time. Journaling, I think, goes a little deeper than that, where you document your emotions and in general your feelings.
I think how most of the when we were young students, we used to write about the feelings, about who is, doctor, who we like, we don't like. So we used to write our feelings also. So when you draw a line and then you can see the activity is finished, now we
Ma'am, drawing a strict line like that is a little difficult, ma'am, because the boundaries are fluid. But
it's the same, it's only a different name for the same thing.
I wouldn't go to that extent of calling both of them the same either, ma'am. And journaling, although I particularly don't do that, ma'am, but some people journaling, what they do is they also sketch, ma'am. They also sketch their. Yes, ma'am. I definitely journal, ma'am, but journaling also involves some sort of sketching and some sort of mapping their emotional activities through drawings, etc. So if we come to the question of how do we differentiate diary writing and journaling, that aspect can also be considered. But otherwise, my limited understanding is journaling is a little more deep than diary writing, ma'am, in terms of how you document your emotions and how you.
My last question to you is, you said your hobby is cooking. So my question to you is, what can you cook?
I can cook varieties of North Indian and South Indian food, ma'am. Biryani, khichdi, sambar, idli, dosa, vada. Yes, ma'am. Before we make biryani, first the rice is soaked, ma'am. I soak the rice before. And basmati rice, ma'am, for biryani. I soak it before. And then you start with tadka, ma'am, which is where you put ghee. And then you add all whole spices, cardamom, elaichi, cinnamon, etc. And then as I do it at home, we add the marinated whatever base, ma'am, be it chicken or paneer or any of the vegetables. Then on sideways, the rice is also pa boil, ma'am. That is, we put water and we also add spices in it, like chili, ginger garlic paste and other whole spices. Rice is cooked up to 70%. Then in this, on the marinated base, which is either chicken or any other meat, we add this rice which is cooked, 70% cooked, and then it's sealed, ma'am. And then biryani is made after that. And we also top it up with some ghee and also other dry nuts, ma'am, like cashew and badam to finish it off. talk. I do that too, ma'am, but personally I do not do that if I'm cooking it for myself, but if I cook for other people, certainly I do that, ma'am, fried onions, etc.
Thank you for the very nice interaction. Thank you.
But true. Lunch is still away.
Vijay, when you were answering about the foreign service, you said that you want to stay in India and you want to be closer to home because you can serve matching. But, though of course you're not opted, but nowadays, even as an IPS officer or an IAS officer, you have to often go abroad. How do you balance that?
So going away for temporary purposes will not be a problem for me if we compare that and foreign service. Foreign service by default involves you mostly staying out of the country permanently, and my answer was also in the light that it's not about my unwillingness to go abroad, sir. It's more about my passion to be on ground and working. But should my profession require me to, even in foreign service or in police service or administrative service, should it require me to go abroad as part of the duty, I'd be more than willing to go, sir.
Okay. You are a driver of Malayalam society at St. Stephen's. Yes. Don't you think that, this kind of regionalism is not conducive in sociological terms for national integration?
So as I understand, I think regionalism is a double-edged sword, sir. It can both have benefits, but also it can have untoward consequences for the society. Regionalism will definitely lead to a sense of belonging to people, gives them a sense of identity, and also becomes a rallying point for people to bond over when any negotiations or any demands are to be done. But at the same time, regionalism can also promote inward-lookingness, where people are going to prioritize their region or their interest at the cost of other interests. So if regionalism comes at the cost of the interests of other people, that is when I think it's sociologically and socially not conducive. Otherwise, as it is, I don't think regionalism is a problem in itself, sir.
You are from Guntur. Guntur is famous for chilies and tobacco. What was the reason to have this kind of combination?
So primarily, I understand it's the ecological conditions, sir. The black cotton soil which Guntur has, it is seen as very conducive for growth of both chili and also tobacco, sir. Along with it, the climatic conditions, that is both chili and tobacco need a certain amount of sunlight, certain level of temperature, and certain level of humidity also for these crops to grow. So given all these parameters, I think Guntur region ticks all the boxes, sir, which is why I think these crops are
Tobacco. Tobacco. You are in the already in the custom GST, so I'm sure you must be. Tobacco, we all know, is injurious to health, and we have government also and society also have put all kinds of restrictions. Do you think it is advisable to continue to grow this kind of crops?
So I see this problem in two parts, sir. One is, yes, in terms of its lives versus livelihood, as I see, sir, where farmers have livelihood, they're dependent on it, and the other thing that's portrayed against it is the lives of people, sir. Yes, certainly there is injury to the health of people in this production, and there are efforts being made to shift farmers away from tobacco cultivation too, sir. For instance, the Tobacco Control Board in Guntur is interested with the program of crop diversification, sir, where significant efforts are being made to shift farmers away from tobacco cultivation. And secondly, even the crop, the standing crop of each year is fixed, sir. Farmers cannot go beyond that even if market conditions allow. So we're trying to regulate it as much as possible.
We are also interested in reading, learning, writing about, read and learn, write Indian languages. Do you think its present focus or present policy of the government is conducive to the development of all the languages?
Yes, sir, I think the current policies as they are, I think they are conducive to development of languages. For instance, if we look at the national education policy that had come in, it promotes developing of regional languages, so in terms of the three language thing. Earlier, while Hindi was mandated to be one of the three languages, now that consideration is done away with, and which allows English and any two other regional languages to be taken up, sir. Secondly, in terms of vernacular education, a huge importance is being given to vernacular education, sir. Third, I think many languages are also being recognized as classical languages today. Recently, 5 more were added. So I think all the policies point to that.
Okay, thank you, Vijay. Nice talking to you.
So Vijay, we come to the end of our formal interaction. We'll now move on to the feedback session. But prior to that, quick question, how many marks did you get in the last interview?
So 190, sir.
190 is extremely good.
So in the interview, in the attempt in which I got into IRS IT, I got 162, sir. I went to interview again in the year 2022 attempt, which is 2023 year, sir. That year I got 190, but my mains marks came down by the exact number and it got compensated, sir. So I again got a rank which was giving me IRS, so that attempt went to waste, sir. And by the exact same number, sir. 30 marks इसमें बढ़ा and 30 marks इसमें घटा, so total same हो गया, sir. Exactly.
Very unfortunate, but how have your means gone this time?
Sir, as they say, it's unpredictable public service commission, sir. So from the experience of 3 attempts, I don't judge how my attempt has gone, sir. Because जिस पेपर में लगता है कि बहुत अच्छा गया, उस पेपर में तो बढ़िया नंबर आते ही नहीं है, और जिस पेपर में लगता है कि बहुत बढ़िया करके आए हो, उस पेपर में you will get very good marks. So yes, sir. So I think I've given my best, sir, in papers.
So Vijay, how did you perform today? What was your self-assessment?
So I think in certain questions I certainly faltered. I think particularly in terms of the HR questions as to why despite the background, why civil services and why not foreign service. I think I need to be a little more prepared, and I'd want your advice on how to go about these questions, sir, because I find myself fumbling with these questions. And certainly in terms of some factual questions also, sir. I could not perform.
So Vijay, with that background of having appeared twice, you would already be aware that this is a very random kind of experience. Any kind of question can come at any time. So let me start with at the beginning, which is that, grueling is very important. So what time when is your interview, by the way?
So 27th of February, sir. And I'll go clean shape for the interview, sir. Certainly I'll do that, sir. Certainly, sir. I was totally expecting that.
And you have a new white shirt.
Yes, sir. All of them, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
of that. Please stand up. Let's see the length of your tie.
So length of the title, sir. I knew all of this was going to come, sir, and probably lace shoes also.
What about your hair?
Hair also, sir. I'll do the whole grooming makeover before my interview, sir. Actually, I'm currently working, so I had to just come to Delhi very rushedly, sir. I came only last night and I had to run for the interview today in the morning.
Also, if you practice a little bit of voice modulation, right? And I don't need to tell you that you are a very promising candidate, and having been through 2 rounds of this, you know what's going to come. But you need to remove some phrases from your vocabulary. For instance, according to my limited understanding, right? So you tell me, why should UPSC select someone who has limited understanding by his own admission?
So because certainly it's a point very well taken, but I thought by qualifying it by saying that my understanding in that area is limited, the bar or the expectation from me to answer that question would also be limited, because then it shows that my understanding is...
No, in fact, the expectations are going to be very high throughout, because you are already at a particular point in your career currently, and you are looking to take a leap up. So that is going to be always that expectation. Right.
So how do you recommend that I go about questions where I am not certain about my answers, sir, or my opinions?
Well, that is a call, Vijay, which you will have to take, because you see, there is a very thin line between guessing and between being absolutely sure of the answer. So I would suggest that don't get into a guessing game where you are not at all sure of the answer. because that's a zero-sum game, and never ask also for the opportunity to guess, right? Because if you guess correctly, it's treated as though it's luck, and if you guess wrong, then it's treated as though you are a speculative street character.
So is it better to, sorry for the interruption, is it better to pass these questions instead of trying attempting it?
No, but then again, if you pass too many questions and be, conservative all the time, then it may end up you may end up as a candidate with a very weak knowledge base, right? Now, I see, Vijay, in your tendency to have your cake and eat it too, in the sense that you present something as having both sides, but that might be contradictory. You have to think this through. For instance, when I talked to you about 3 capitals, I said, give me one big plus and one big minus. You said one big plus is that it promotes regional development, and one big minus is just by having a court, development will not take place. So these are contradictory. And then you then added that there is administrative inconvenience. So it promotes regional development, very good. It will lead to administrative inconvenience, very good. These are non-contradictory. But the minute you add it just by having a court, then you contradict the first statement. Okay.
I failed in delivery of my answer. My point was that there's more importance to the regions that will be given, that regions will feel belonged. Because now as it is...
No, that is of course well taken care of by the first part of the answer. But your answers have to be so crafted that they are impactful, impressive, and non-contradictory. Yes. Right. And I would suggest that in the time which is available, just look at your DAF, look at your work profile, be on top of current events, right? Which newspaper are you reading?
I'm currently reading the Mint and the Hindus.
Okay, add Indian Express to that, and they have a particular section called E-Explained. That is very good. And when you are doing that, then take a notebook and keep jotting down, because otherwise, just a casual reading will not give you that kind of thing, and will not give you that benefit. Which TV channel are you seeing? I suggest you see WION. That will give you some exposure to international relations. Every hour or so, they give you a wrap up of what's happening in the world, right? And maybe some of these very insightful podcasts, etc. Palki Sharma Upadhyay, Shekhar Gupta, Cut the Clutter, that kind of thing. Don't waste too much time on that, but definitely be in touch, because that adds to the conceptual clarity which is being looked at. There are certain things, there's a list of things which the panel is looking at: integrity, lucidity, analytical ability, your ability to think on your feet, how much poise and self-confidence you have. So basically we are looking at officer-like qualities, and we are assessing you, everyone is assessing you on different parameters. But like someone would be thinking that, okay, if this gentleman is placed as a DM and he's facing a crowd of 5,000 which is baying for his blood, will he have the gumption to order firing or not? Right. So at all times, you have to behave not as an aspirant but as an officer. Right. So bear that in mind. So be assertive. And I'm sure you'll do very well. I have great hopes from you. Best of luck. You have a good personality, and you are coming from a very good place. You already have a job in hand, a prestigious one at that. So you can only soar higher. Have that in mind, because so many candidates come here without a job. Their 10th try, 11th try, they're basically parasites. Right? So you are in a very good space. Go there with an absolutely clear mind, no cobwebs, and a positive attitude that I am going to ace this interview. Best of luck.
One question, sir. For the question on why, despite the background, why civil services, is it better to come clean and honest and say, yes, it's been my childhood dream, I'm limited to that? Or with some sort of...
No. Childhood dream actually doesn't convey anything. Doesn't convey at all anything. The other part is much more incisive, that that you have looked at the canvas of careers, and you find that the civil service is not a career, it's a calling. Right. From day one, you are able to address the concerns of the common man And as you go up the seniority ladder, you get inputs for policy formulation, which will impact crores of Indians. Right. So that's the way to approach it.
किसी ने ये बताया था कि सर जैसे कि आप बोलोगे कि सोशल बेंट ऑफ माइंड या समाज के लिए कुछ करना है तुरंत ही देन बोल दो कि क्या रख के आए हो या रख तो क्या कहीं से रख के आए.
In fact, childhood dream जो है one is sick of hearing childhood dream.
And that asks this question.
Most common reply.
मुझे ऐसा लगता था कि it's better to probably just limit it to your personal this thing instead of saying the social benefit of mind.
No.
Although intentions can excel overuse so maybe not good.
No, the idea really is that you need to show that passion for public service after having analyzed the situation.
Yes.
Right. So it's not just an off-the-cuff reply, but it shows that you have analyzed what civil service is all about. Why is it superior to other careers, right? So, best of luck, Vijay. Vijay, just a minute, don't run away. 2 points from my side. One is, willy-nilly you're given IPS as your second choice. Be prepared to face police-related questions. Okay? New criminal laws, Armed Forces Special Powers Act, ongoing situation in Manipur, cross-border firing in J&K, terrorism, left-wing extremism, etc., etc. One. Secondly, the reply to your question as to why no office, right? So one way of, it is your call. You have to decide what you should say. But my suggestion would be you say it is an excellent job. I love foreign service, but I love these two services more. My passion for these two services is much more. That is why I have. And you will have to word it out. In what may, to you, it should appear more convincing to the interview board.
So how does the answer of passion to stay in your passion to do sort of work on the ground? How does that come across?
Greater opportunities in IAS and IPS. Simple.
One well-taken step or does it look like I'm putting down foreign service saying that
You see, ideally you should have given foreign service also, whatever number you like. Now that you have not, the only way to go about it is by saying this. I love these two more. Instead of saying in a way that no opportunities to work abroad, at ground level abroad.
If you have one comment, then you are going to have your be abreast with whatever is happening around the world. Mr. Modi is bound to meet Trump. What is going to be the outcome? What are the tariffs, etc. Mr. Trump is levying? What is the difference between tariffs and Muslims? How is it going to affect India? Even in current affairs, like I asked you about the more color and all, this is all in news. I don't pick up this stories. It is regular in the news. So keep watching the news. See what happens is if you read different programs. That's what we see. Prime Minister sitting on a jeep, teaching story like excellent, you can't forget these visuals. consider more headline. आधे घंटे कम से कम sticky movement. ठीक है, which all the rest, you have lot of attention. I'm sure you're going to make it this time. Which all the rest.
Because one point I'll make. But your answers, you have a good knowledge. Only thing is that your answer is slightly wrong. That's where the contradiction comes. Slightly wrong. Slightly wrong. You can supplement, but you will avoid those contradictions. So this is the only point I'll make because otherwise we are wrong.
So, initially I would not do this. In my first attempt, we can get a bit further. आपने कुछ पूछा मैं तुरंत ही बहुत ही छोटा जवाब दे गया.
नहीं छोटा नहीं, बस whatever he said, depending on the question. But sometimes I found that that's why we were getting entangled.
Any specific examples?
Like when we were talking about the foreign service, for example, you're giving very longish, and that's why you have to come out with. Naturally, you have to say something. So that's how you get into that. It's very simple for a service, it's a issue. I'm sure, I mean, it's quite likely that they'll ask you, especially when somebody for a service is there. There's a member also is from the foreign service, so you have to be bored. So no, वो ठीक है, but उसका जो जवाब है थोड़ा सा और सोच लीजिए.
कैसे
जैसे like for example you said I like to work on ground. You work in ground in foreign service also.
Yes.
You are working with Indian diaspora.
Yes,
You're doing some public service. So working on the ground, you have to work on the village only. And we do a lot of developmental work now. Developmental assistance we are giving. So it's not that we are working on the ground.
yes,
So of course ultimately it's a choice. I like to work there in this service. Full stop. Foreign service UPSC is giving me a choice. So I mean everything is fine, but I am passionate for this. And we will stop. That kind of answer. Don't try to justify too much.
and for the question of other IPS में बाहर जाना पड़ रहा है, then how will you?
You're not saying I don't want to.
Yes.
Whatever you said.
Yes.
That is what I'm saying. I have passion. I'm not using the word passion. It's just I like to
More inclined towards this thing, but अगर जाना पड़ रहा है,
मैनेजमेंट तो नौकरी है. एकदम IRS का वहां भी जाना पड़ता है. जो है ICO है, कस्टम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, सर्विस वगैरह. तो वहां जाना पड़ेगा. Yes. Best of luck.
I have selection.